Tonight we're having calzone for dinner. And this calzone is going to be stuffed with a bit of a lamb sauce and some whipped ricotta filling. I've started the lamb here now. The sauce is going to be quite simple. Really, I mean, it's going to have all this other flavor from all the other ingredients, and so they don't need a lot of ingredients in the sauce. The other thing is, I don't really need oil in here, and the reason I don't need oil is because the lamb fat, right, it's going to be released here, and that's going to basically be the oil for the dish. So I've got the lamb started here. It's starting to release the fat. So what I'm going to add to it is 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Okay? And that's going to give it a little tomatoey flavor. And then I'm going to add some basil. These are just whole basil leaves that I'm throwing in there. I'm going to add some garlic. This is just 2 cloves of garlic. I've got like 1/4 teaspoon of salt in here. And I'm going to put in a few grinds of black peppers. So here's what black peppers are in. Okay. So what exactly is a calzone? And what's the difference between a calzone and a stromboli? Well, okay, so a calzone actually is Italian, okay, and it's basically in the shape of a half moon. You make a round dough, and then you fill it, you fold it over, and you get a half moon shape. Stromboli is actually not Italian. It's Italian American. Some people say that it originated in the Philadelphia area, and rather than being folded over like that, it's kind of rolled, and then you slice it. Anyway. That's the difference between a calzone and a stromboli. We're doing a calzone tonight. And once this sauce is ready, we're going to come back, and then we're going to make the whipped ricotta filling. So let's make the whipped ricotta filling. I'm going to start with 2 cups of drained ricotta. So this went in last night, wrapped in a cheesecloth in a strainer. You can see that all this liquid down here, plus the cheesecloth is completely soaked. And so, you really want to get all that excess water out of it when you're going to make a whipped ricotta. So let me go ahead and I'm going to press this down a bit. And the only thing I'm going to do to start off with this is to add a tablespoon of really good, I want tasty, good olive oil. So I'm going to put that tablespoon in there. I'll start to mix it in. And then I'll use my little electric whisk here to whip the ricotta up. Put that back. Okay. What I'm trying to do is get a nice, I'm trying to get kind of a nice, fluffy kind of ricotta. And you'll see it'll start taking its time. And so you can see that I'm kind of getting air into it, and then I'm kind of turning it into a nice, fluffy, whipped consistency. Now once I get it to that, then I can add, I got it nice and soft, and I can add the rest of the ingredients. So I was going to put in, this is 3/4 cup of pecorino Romano cheese, and then I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, and I'm going to do an initial mix like that in here again, get it kind of partially mixed in. So it doesn't spray all over the place. And then we'll whip it one more time. There we go. Okay, that's all there is to that. I now have it whipped up. So mix it in, make sure it's all mixed nicely. And then what I do is I put it in a pastry bag, except we don't buy pastry bags. They're expensive and you only get to use them one time. So what do? We use Ziploc bags. You take the same thing, the same pastry tip and mount, you just cut the corner of the bag up, you stick it in there like that, and then you put your stuff in there, and you have a homemade, incredibly cheap pastry bag. All you need to do is zip it up and squeeze the stuff out. So I'm going to finish doing it. I'm going to get all the rest of it in here, and then we're going to come back and assemble and bake. Okay, so my oven's at 450. I've got a pizza stone in it, and it's been heating for about an hour. You really have to make sure that you heat the pizza stone up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe the filling, the ricotta filling. I'm going to pipe a goodly amount of that in. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to use all of this because, you know, you can't overstuff the thing. So the rest of it can be used for something else. Okay, that looks like about as much as I can really put in my calzone. I got to leave some room to seal it back up. All right, next, I am going to put in some of this lamb. All right, so I've got my lamb sauce here, and I'll put some of that in. And the leftover lamb sauce, I'll do something else. I'll put it on pasta, or I'll do something else with it. But here we go. Put that in. Well, it actually smells really good. All right. All right, so I'm not going to be able to put all of it in, quite all of it in. I got a lot of it in. All right, and finally, because I happen to have some mozzarella laying around, I'm just going to, kind of put a little bit of mozzarella in there too, and let that become a nice melty covering. There we go. I think that's probably enough. Yeah, that's enough. We're gonna put the mozzarella in there. What the heck? Throw a little bit more. Throw a little bit more in. Can't hurt, right? I'll just eat the rest of this. I'll put some salt on it and eat it. All right, now, so that's all done. What I need now to do is kind of fold it over and seal it. Probably should wet the edge of the dough a little bit to be able to do that. So I'm gonna have I have some water over here. I'm just gonna kind of wet the edge around a little bit, and I'll be stretching this over, right? I'm just going to stretch the dough over the top, right, and just kind of seal it up. There we go. Now, all right, now sealing it up, you can just do it with a fork. You can do it with whatever you want, or you can try and make it decorative. Like I pinch it a little bit and kind of make a decorative edge out of it. Now the final step before it hits the oven is I gotta give it a couple of vents. Gotta let some of the steam out. So I'm gonna vent it. Here's a vent here, a vent here, a vent here. That's enough. So that's basically it. It's ready to go now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick this in the oven until it's beautifully and golden brown, which ought to take about 20 or 25 minutes. Then we'll let it cool a little bit and we'll give it a try. So here's the calzone. We obviously had to let it cool. It was basically doing a volcano thing.
Yeah.
So we let it cool, but we're going to cut it open now. And we're going to give it a taste. Wow, that really is crunch. There we go.
Crunchy.
Let's show you the inside here. Here it is with the lamb and the cheese and everything. Go ahead and then we'll give it a try.
It looks yummy.
I'm going to try a little bit off of this here. I gotta admit, that is what you want. You want a crunchy crust. We definitely have a crunchy crust. All right. So,
Try my filling here.
So, you can already tell, very crisp on the outside, like chewy dough on the inside.
Oh, that filling is wonderful.
Yeah, so you get it's kind of a savory, the lamb part, right? Just savory tomatoey lamb sauce.
Yeah, that lamb is different. That's really good.
Yeah, and then you have, then you hit the creaminess of the ricotta with the sharp pecorino in it. And there's a little bit of melty mozzarella on top. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's dinner.
That's dinner. Happy calzone to you. See you next time.